For over 3 decades, Tombstone has stood as a monolithic pillar of the Western genre, a film beloved not for its historical precision, but for its sheer, unapologetic bravado. It's a movie quoted in locker rooms, saloons, and living rooms with the reverence of scripture. I'm your huckleberry. You're a daisy if you do. The film's legacy is etched in the gravelly voice of Sam Elliott as Virgil Earp, and the mesmerizing tragic turn of Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. But beneath the surface of this beloved classic lies a story of near collapse, quiet heroism, and a secret that Sam Elliott has carried with him for years. In recent, reflective interviews, the iconic actor has finally shed light on a truth that most fans, no matter how devoted, never figured out. The film's soul wasn't forged in the director's chair, but in the quiet, unsung leadership of its star, Kurt Russell, and in a moment of vulnerability that defined the production's very survival. The common narrative surrounding Tombstone is one of a troubled production, a story so legendary it rivals the gunfight at the OK Corral itself. The original director, Kevin Jarre, who also wrote the sharp, muscular script that drew Elliott to the project, was fired just weeks into filming. Panic could have easily consumed the set. The studio, Disney's Hollywood Pictures, scrambled to find a replacement, eventually bringing in George P. Cosmatos, a director known for action films but with little experience in the Western genre. For many cast members, this was a moment of deep uncertainty. Yet, as Sam Elliott has revealed in recent years, the crisis was averted not by the new director, but by a man who was supposed to be merely the lead actor, Kurt Russell, who played Wyatt Earp. Elliott's revelation isn't just that Russell was a leader, but that he became the de facto director, the architect who rebuilt the film's foundation while ensuring the man with the official title, Cosmatos, had the cover he needed to get the job done. Elliott has spoken with a unique clarity about this period, describing a set that was on the brink of fracturing. The cast, which included a who's who of character actors like Bill Paxton, Powers Booth, and Michael Biehn, was looking for a captain. According to Elliott, Russell quietly stepped into that void. He wasn't loud or egotistical about it. He was methodical. Russell, a student of cinema who had grown up on sets, began working with Cosmatos in a way that was both collaborative and commanding. The arrangement, as Elliott and other cast members have confirmed, was that Russell would essentially direct the film, blocking scenes, managing the massive ensemble, and maintaining the tone of Jarre's script, while Cosmatos would manage the logistics, the crew, and serve as the official liaison with the studio. Elliott's candid admission reframes the entire production. Tombstone was a Western classic directed by its star, a fact that was an open secret among the cast, but never fully acknowledged by the studio. What most fans never figured out, and what Elliott is finally making clear, is the profound weight of that responsibility and the specific way Russell wielded it to protect the integrity of the film. It wasn't just about shooting scenes, it was about safeguarding the vision that had attracted them all in the first place. Elliott recalls how Russell would meticulously go over the script each night, making notes, sketching out camera angles, and then arriving on set the next day to guide the actors through their performances. He did this while simultaneously managing the delicate ego of Cosmatos, ensuring the director felt respected and in control for the sake of the crew's morale. Elliott describes it as a masterclass in leadership, a performance behind the camera that was just as demanding as the one in front of it. This revelation casts the film in a new light. Every iconic moment, from the tension-filled walk to the OK Corral to the quiet brotherly moments between the Earps, was curated by Russell's steady hand. But Elliott's deeper secret touches on a more personal, emotional layer of the production. While the story of Russell's directorial role is a well-worn piece of film lore, Elliott has recently emphasized a nuance that many miss: the profound emotional and physical toll it took on Russell. In reflecting on those months, Elliott reveals that Russell carried the burden not just as a leader, but as a protector of his fellow cast members. He understood that a failure of Tombstone would not just be a career setback, but a blow to the Western genre itself, which was struggling to find its footing in the early 1990s. Elliott has described moments of seeing Russell after long days of shooting, exhausted and isolated, the weight of the entire production visibly resting on his shoulders. This was not a star seizing power for vanity. It was a man sacrificing his own peace of mind to ensure that a great script found its proper execution. Elliott's admiration for Russell, which he has voiced in numerous interviews, is rooted in this selflessness. The revelation extends to the film's legendary antagonist. A key element of Tombstone's enduring appeal is Val Kilmer's transcendent performance as Doc Holliday. Elliott has often spoken about watching Kilmer work, even on his own days off, mesmerized by the actor's commitment. But the secret he's now amplifying is how Russell's direction created the space for Kilmer to achieve that brilliance. In a production that could have been chaotic, Russell enforced a sense of discipline and focus that allowed Kilmer to explore the character's fragility and wit. Elliott recalls that Russell recognized early on that the heart of the film was the unusual friendship between Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday. He tailored his own performance to be the perfect stoic foil to Kilmer's mercurial energy, and he structured scenes to give Kilmer the room to breathe life into Holliday's famous one-liners. Elliott's insight is that while Kilmer delivered the masterpiece, Russell was the master craftsman who built the frame. Another layer of this secret, one that Elliott has hinted at with a wry smile, is the unspoken competition that loomed over the entire production. At the same time Tombstone was being made, Kevin Costner was preparing his own Wyatt Earp epic, Wyatt Earp, with a massive budget, a prestigious director, Lawrence Kasdan, and the full weight of a major studio campaign behind it. The industry narrative was that Tombstone was the B-movie version, destined to be steamrolled by Costner's prestige picture. Elliott reveals that this outside pressure, rather than intimidating the cast, galvanized them. It was Russell who used this narrative as fuel. He would remind the cast that they had something Costner's film didn't: a lean, mean script, and a cast that was fully integrated, a true ensemble rather than a star vehicle. Elliott admits that the sense of being the underdog, of fighting for the soul of the Western against a heavyweight champion, created a bunker mentality that sharpened everyone's focus. They weren't just making a movie, they were proving a point. This underdog spirit was reinforced by the authenticity they brought to the physical aspects of the roles. Elliott has long praised the decision to bring in legendary quick-draw expert Thul Reed to train the cast. Reed taught them not the stylized Hollywood gunplay, but the actual techniques of 19th-century gunfighters, economy of motion, the specific way to wear a holster, the muscle memory needed to draw and fire with deadly efficiency. Elliott reveals that this training wasn't just about looking cool, it was a unifying experience. The cast spent hours together in the desert, practicing until their hands blistered, building the camaraderie that would translate on screen. They were, in a sense, forming their own posse. This commitment to authenticity extended to their iconic mustaches. Elliott confirms that the cast grew their own facial hair, a deliberate choice to reject the artificiality of the Costner production. This small detail, from the waxed curls to the natural growth, became a point of pride, a physical manifestation of their collective rebellion against being seen as the other Earp movie. Elliott's most recent recollections also touch on the unspoken tension of the director change and his own role in navigating it. He's recounted the infamous first meeting with George P. Cosmatos, where the director, likely feeling the pressure and insecurity of stepping onto a hostile set, pulled Elliott aside and asked bluntly, "Am I going to have trouble with you?" Elliott's legendary response, "I don't know. Am I going to have trouble with you?" is often played for laughs, a testament to his steely persona. But Elliott now reveals the strategic intent behind it. He knew the set was fragile. He knew Russell was quietly running the show. His blunt response wasn't just bravado. It was a signal to Cosmatos that he was a professional who would follow a competent leader, but not a tyrant. It was a way to quickly establish boundaries, allowing Cosmatos to save face while implicitly acknowledging the existing power structure. The moment, according to Elliott, diffused potential conflict and allowed the collaboration between Russell, Cosmatos, and the cast to proceed without further friction. Decades later, as the legend of Tombstone only grows, Sam Elliott's willingness to speak openly about these behind-the-scenes truths offers a final, poignant revelation. He admits that he didn't fully appreciate the magnitude of what they were accomplishing in the moment. They were too busy surviving, too focused on the daily fight to make the film work. It was only in the years that followed, as Wyatt Earp came and went with a whimper and Tombstone grew into a cultural phenomenon, that he understood the alchemy that had occurred. The secret, he now reveals, was not just in the script or the performances, but in the collective decision to protect the project at all costs. Kurt Russell's sacrifice, the ensemble's unity, and their shared refusal to be defined by the competition created a film that was more than the sum of its troubled parts. What Sam Elliott finally wants fans to understand is that Tombstone is not a movie that succeeded despite its chaotic production. It succeeded because of the way its cast and its uncredited director navigated that chaos. The film's soul is forged in the crucible of that pressure. When you watch Wyatt Earp stride down the street in his long coat, or see the Earps share a quiet, knowing glance, or witness Doc Holliday's fatalistic wit, you are seeing the result of a quiet, determined leadership that refused to let a great story be lost to studio politics and industry doubt. Elliott's revelation pulls back the curtain on a Hollywood miracle, a classic born not from a single visionary director, but from a group of stubborn, talented artists led by their star who love the material too much to let it fail. For fans, it changes every frame. The film is no longer just a Western. It is a testament to the power of quiet leadership and the enduring magic that happens when a cast truly fights for its film.